Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday. So if you wouldn't mind, please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell notification button. We're all very happy with cryptocurrency this morning. Everybody's got big smiles on their faces. Bitcoin is up above $51,000. We will be discussing this in just a second, looking at what's been happening in the charts here, and we'll take a look at some of the latest cryptocurrency news. If we scroll down the markets tab of cryptosavingexpert.com here, you can see there's been a change for the top 10 cryptocurrencies, and we have actually seen the Solana market cap surpass the BNB market cap. So we have actually seen Solana take that top spot there. It's now fourth in terms of market cap with $50.4 billion, when Solana has moved down to fifth spot at $49.80. So movement there in terms of the top 10 cryptocurrencies. To be honest, I expect to see a lot more movement over the next 12 months as well. When it comes to the top 10 cryptocurrencies, we don't typically see the same tokens in the top 10 every kind of peak bull market. Usually some new tokens will come in and disrupt that list. So it'll be really interesting to see what tokens are reaching those top 10 rankings within the next 12 months. Definitely something to be keeping an eye on and seeing where we can find those altcoins with the potential to do that. That's where all the fun is. Let's take a look though at what's gone on here. So in the last 24 hours, Bitcoin is up 2.7%. And Ethereum is up 2.5%. In the last week, we've seen massive gains here with Bitcoin throughout the week outperforming Ethereum slightly. In terms of biggest gainers of the day, we've got Stacks up almost 12%, SEI up almost over 15%, VET 11%, Miner 9%. In terms of biggest losers, we've got Huobi's HT token again down another 11% there, Litecoin down 2%, some small movements there, but overall the markets are super green, super bullish, really nice to see. I'm sure everybody in the chat is very, very happy with the price movement so far. Hello, everybody in the live chat. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, very much appreciate it. Please don't forget to hit that like button and interact with today's stream as much as possible. It helps the stream grow more than you ever think. So please make sure to interact, like, subscribe. First article of the day, as I've just said, Solana has surpassed BNB chain as fourth largest digital asset by market cap. Solana's DeFi TVL is nearing the significant $2 billion milestone as well. So we are seeing people looking at Solana as a long-term project there when they are locking up their assets on the Solana project, and we are seeing the market cap increase nicely as well. But let's take a look at the Bitcoin price here, because Bitcoin's shocking us all. We are now less than 70 days away from the Bitcoin halving. Let's pull up a Bitcoin halving countdown just for more effect. Countdown, here we go. Bitcoin halving countdown. This is wrong. I'm sure this one's wrong. Let's see this one. We are 63 days away from the Bitcoin halving. It is expected to be in April 2024. The exact date, is it going to tell us the exact date? No, it's not. At some point in April 2024, in 63 days, if someone wants to calculate that, please do. At 63 days away from the Bitcoin halving, that is when the Bitcoin inflation rate is reduced by half. It's slashed in half, essentially. So every 10 minutes, instead of 6.25 Bitcoin being added into circulation, only 3.125 Bitcoin will be added into circulation. So huge changes there in terms of Bitcoin's tokenomics, and this brings a huge amount of potential to the Bitcoin price here. We all know how supply and demand works. If demand stays the same and supply decreases, we do see a move to the upside in the price. Now, if we take a look at what's happening with these ETFs, we have actually seen records that ETFs are actually buying up 10 times the amount of Bitcoin that is being added into circulation every day. So that was the news of yesterday's stream. That is a really bullish statement to be looking at there. If we take a look at what's been happening for the Bitcoin price, we had a level of resistance at $49,000. We've smashed through that, and we've in fact used that as a level of support now as well. Now, me, as well as many other people, were feeling a little bit cautious at the price points down here in this price range, because of the potential bearish momentum that comes with a Bitcoin halving. But so far, these Bitcoin ETFs have pushed the price to the upside. Now, I don't think these Bitcoin ETFs mean that we are going to see an incredibly straight line to the upside. We may see some volatility along the way. We have already experienced a 22% dump following ETFs being launched into the market. So we know that that is still possible with these Bitcoin ETFs live, and we do need to be prepared for that. But right now, Bitcoin is on an absolute tear. And I've seen some people saying, look, we're going to see a Bitcoin halving, a Bitcoin all-time high before the halving. It is possible. If you take a look at the trajectory of Bitcoin in a bull market, it does look like a straight line when you zoom out. So we need to be aware of what's happening here. We are using a previous level of resistance at $49,000 as a support right now, looking to reach some higher prices. As always, I am being cautious here, dollar cost averaging in, dollar cost averaging out. During the month of April, when we do see that Bitcoin halving, typically a Bitcoin halving creates some bearish momentum. How bearish that will be this time around, who knows? Very exciting opportunities here. $51,600 Bitcoin on the 14th of February 2024. If somebody said that to you last year, you just would not believe it. This is absolutely insane. A lot of you know that my bullish price prediction prior to the Bitcoin halving, when we were down here, has always been 50k. So hitting this $51,600 level is just astonishing. Let's see what goes on here. Let's see what's going on in the chat today. So what's going on? Hey, Justin. Hello, Rob. Hello, Monkey Nuts. Hello, Randy. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, let's see what's going on with the price of Ethereum as well while we're here. And then we'll get on to the latest cryptocurrency news, because we've got some more to discuss there as well. Ethereum is up to $2,745. If we take a look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, we are still at this crucial point here, as I've mentioned a couple of times. Prior to the Bitcoin halving, in the couple of months before, that's when this is when we saw this chart sort to bottom out at the previous cycle. So if we expect that to happen again, this would mean that Ethereum is about to really start to outperform Bitcoin. But who knows what's going to happen here? And I think this does slightly depend on the Ethereum ETF approval as well. If they get approved in May, then we could see some really bullish momentum there. There are still some concerns when it comes to ETFs, obviously, especially if they are introducing staking into those applications with the SEC as well. We will discuss that at some point in the next couple of weeks. Happy Valentine's Day, says Jonathan. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you all have a lovely Valentine's Day. I like Valentine's Day. Let's see what's going on here in the next piece of news. Let's move on from the charts now and see what's happening. Bitcoin has hit a $1 trillion market cap again, as $217 million was liquidated in 24 hours. You can see here, $1 trillion has been hit, and I don't even think we were prepared for that on CSC. We need to be able to put T's in here. I will inform the team of this. $1 trillion market cap for Bitcoin. Not bad, but I hope we see more. I hope we get higher. We are all feeling super bullish right now. Big smiles on everyone's faces that's invested in cryptocurrency and been here through the bear market. We've been doing these live streams since Bitcoin was down at $16,000. It's now at $51,000. I mean, we called it. We did call it. Let's see what else is going on in the news today, other than just saying Bitcoin's going up. We need to be an informative live stream as well. Let's see what's going on here. We've got 10 likes on today's stream. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. As I said, we do these live streams every single day. Have done since $16,000 Bitcoin. Will do until Bitcoin reaches $100,000. So make sure to tune in and educate yourself about the cryptocurrency space here. What we've got is Bitcoin ETF market sees $631 million inflow in one day. So if we take a look at this chart here, you can see the inflows for Bitcoin ETFs have been absolutely insane. As we've been saying when it comes to these Bitcoin ETFs, these are basically just removing the barrier for entry. It means a lot more people can get exposure to the Bitcoin price a lot easier. A lot of people don't want to research what centralized exchanges are safe, how to use self-custody, and a lot of financial advisors and institutional investors weren't really allowed to get exposure to Bitcoin's price. But now these ETFs have come along, they can all get exposure, they can all invest into these ETFs and make some nice profits with exposure to Bitcoin's upwards momentum. So we are seeing a huge amount of inflows right now. We're also surprisingly seeing the volatility of Bitcoin reduce over the years. So if this continues, I believe I've been saying this for many, many years now. What's happening with Bitcoin is we are seeing these 4-year cycles. We are seeing a huge amount of volatility, but this won't last forever. Bitcoin just can't print millionaires every 4 years forever. What we will eventually see is Bitcoin reaching its fair market value. And this will be where Bitcoin manages to find a price range, which is stable and is around where its fair market value is. Now, right now, I believe we are very far off that point. I do think there's a couple of years more with some volatility. I think we've got a couple of 4-year cycles to go. But as the price of Bitcoin, as the market cap for Bitcoin grows above $1 trillion and continues to grow, the volatility of Bitcoin will decrease, and eventually we will find that fair market value. So as time is going on, people are getting more exposure to the space and really pushing the price of Bitcoin up. Eventually, we will hit that zone at some point in time. Only $51,000, says Monkey Nuts here. Boris says, hi Jess from the Philippines. Solana will pump some more. Flipping BNB. I did say last week if Solana holds, we are going to the races. Next up is ETH Pump and Pump's Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Potentially, I mean, it's really interesting to see all this play out. Solana's, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I think we all know what my thoughts are on Solana. Solana is a huge cryptocurrency. It came out of nowhere in the previous cycle, performed incredibly well. It then had a few issues with its outages throughout the previous bull market. We went into the bear market. It didn't have an outage for a year, but FTX did hold a ton of this, and that made the token tank when FTX tanked. And now we've seen another outage. We are seeing potentially this is a problem that may continue, and we are still seeing the price increase. Now, could this be because of the VC investors? Who knows? But the price is soaring, the ecosystem is soaring, and I'm not an investor, and I always say, look, I'm not an investor, but the price of this thing might move. I mean, there's so many tokens out there that I personally don't want to touch that I know will perform well in a bull market. In a bull market, a lot of tokens perform well, even if they have no utility at all. Like Solana has utility, it has a community, it has tokens in its ecosystem that are pumping, and it has backing by VC investors. There's not many reasons as to why I think this would just fall off the top 10 list. I really struggle to see that. I see it as a token that would perform well in the bull market. It's just personally not a token that I invest into. We can't all invest into them all at the end of the day. You can't over diversify a small portfolio. We've got to be cautious of that. So it's not a token I've invested into, but it's really nice to see it performing well. It has a super strong community, and that is so important in a bull market. Let's see what else is going on in the news here. So next article of the day is Tuesday saw record high inflows for spot Bitcoin ETFs as investors are flocking to the ETF products. Very nice to see. I mean, we all called it here in cryptocurrency, didn't we? When these Bitcoin ETFs come live, people are going to say, actually, that Bitcoin thing's good after all. That thing I've been ignoring for 10 years and been calling a scam for 10 years. Actually, I want to get exposure to that. I want to invest in an asset like that. So they've all been turning their heads, all a bit confused as how BlackRock are involved. Maybe I should be too. How do I get exposure to it? Now is the time. So I think we'll be seeing a lot more of this, but we were here first. All the viewers here were here first. Everybody in cryptocurrency was here first. And even better than that, a lot of us know how to manage self-custody and be our own bank. So that's really important there. Let's take a look at what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss what's going on in the crazy world of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is up above $51,600 here. I mean, things are getting interesting. Things are heating up. I knew 2024 was going to be a good year. I just didn't expect it to be this good this quickly. Let's take a look at what's going on here. So Gary Gensler has penned a letter about fake SEC spot Bitcoin ETF approval. So in the days running up to Bitcoin ETFs being approved by the SEC, the regulators in the US, there was a tweet that went out from the SEC's Twitter account. I'm sure many of you have heard about this. Essentially, it said, woo, the Bitcoin ETFs were approved. And then the SEC were like, oh, sorry, our Twitter account was hacked. It wasn't approved. And this actually really caused a problem for the cryptocurrency space because there were 3 times by which we weren't really sure if the ETFs had been officially approved. First of all, a cryptocurrency news outlet reported that Bitcoin ETFs had been approved like 6 months before they actually were. Then we saw the Twitter account of the SEC being compromised and a tweet going out saying they'd been approved when they hadn't. And then we saw a post go up on the SEC website saying Bitcoin ETFs have been approved, and then the website went down. So there were 3 occasions by which the markets took a sharp upturn and then sharply went down again because people weren't certain, because there was fake news essentially, and then on the 3rd occasion because we weren't sure if it was fake news. And then when the actual news came out, we did not see the volatility that we were expecting. I personally put this down to the fact that we'd seen 3 fake approval notices and the volatility had gone. A lot of people had been liquidated and people were just choosing not to touch the trade anymore because they'd already been caught out by 3 fake approvals essentially. So that kind of limited the amount of volatility that we did to actually see on the real approval, and I don't think that's a brilliant thing to see here. Now, Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC, has discussed what's happened here. So he has said, first of all, actually, before we get into what he's said, we do actually know that they did not have 2-factor authentication on their Twitter account, so it was compromised and somebody just put out this tweet very simply. But Gary Gensler has stated, I assure you that the SEC is committed to upholding its cybersecurity responsibilities. I'm aware that the SEC's Office of Legislative and Intergovernmental Affairs conducting a brief on July 17th for your staff regarding the X incident and address the concerns outlined in your letter. He confirmed that the investigation is ongoing. Gensler publicly acknowledged the compromise of the SEC's Twitter account on the 9th of January and issued a comprehensive statement on the incident on the 12th of January. Unlike his previous public statements, his letter to lawmakers remained undisclosed until recently, and the letter was brought to light by Politico on 8th of February. It has since garnered attention from various sources circulating and being reported on more widely today. All of that volatility that basically happened before the actual launch of the ETFs, I do think had an effect on the post-acceptance pump. A lot of people were looking at it, including myself, like this is a brilliant opportunity. If these ETFs go live, we could see a massive move to the upside. But that didn't happen. Bitcoin really had kind of ran out of steam. We didn't see a dump. I still stand by the fact this wasn't a buy the rumor, sell the news event. We just did not see that much volatility. It was a slow burner. It took a couple of days for us to reach that $49,000 level. Let's take a look at what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news though. Let's move on from that. So, Awell is banking on Ethereum to continue its run. We are seeing an individual accumulating Ethereum by huge amounts, and they're also going long using DeFi loans. So we're seeing that Look On Chain revealed the Awell has withdrawn 39,900 ETH worth approximately $100 million from a couple of centralized exchanges, and the average price of the mountain of ETH is $2,492. But the Awell is not just sitting on spot ETH, it is utilizing DeFi loans to go long on the assets. They're borrowing against the ETH, and they've borrowed 56.8 million DAI from Spark, and what they're doing there is going long on Bitcoin. So huge position there. We can see here that one of the reporters who closely followed and provided updates on the Bitcoin ETFs has stated that the May deadlines are imperative to the SEC's decision making. The only date that matters for spot ETFs at this time is 23rd of May. I think that's important there. I mean, there's a huge amount of potential here when it comes to Ethereum if these ETFs get approved. We're not seeing analysts be so certain on the approval of these ETFs as they were with Bitcoin. When the Bitcoin ETF deadline was approaching, analysts were saying, look, there's a 90% chance these are getting approved. Now, with the Ethereum one, we're looking at them saying 50-50 chance. So we need to be a little bit more cautious here about what's happening, but still huge amounts of potential if these do get over the line. Let's see what else is going on here. Let's talk about some Bitcoin related stocks. So with Bitcoin reaching a 26-month high this year, let's look at how industry stocks are performing. So MicroStrategy, Coinbase and Miner stocks are all related to Bitcoin. Obviously, MicroStrategy holds a huge amount of Bitcoin. That is up 48.82% in the last month, tipping over the $700 benchmark. MicroStrategy is one of the largest Bitcoin holders. We know that. For Coinbase, centralized exchange Coinbase is a publicly listed company under the ticker COIN. They've rallied throughout November and December, hitting $186 just before the new year. This saw Coinbase rally over 100% from the $70 region it has been residing at. Since then, Coin retraced to $115. At the time of writing, Coin was trading at $147, up 10% in the last month. Now, if we're looking at miner stocks, we can see that Marathon Digital is up 53% in the month. BitDeer is up 36% in the month. BitDeer was one of just the two miners that is reported to be profitable if Bitcoin traded below $40,000 post-halving. Riot Platforms also boasted significant gains, price increasing up 41%. And one miner that has not witnessed growth over the last month is Hut8, with its Hut stock losing 9% of its value. So definitely some volatility there. And this is something that we do need to consider, because when it comes to Bitcoin and it comes to cryptocurrencies, we know what they are and we know their potential. And sometimes it's nice to look at cryptocurrency related stocks as well. For these different mining companies, there's different reasons as to why they are seeing these different percentage changes, with Hut8 not performing as well as the others. We have seen a lot of reports about how mining companies will perform post-halving, given that their revenue is essentially going to be slashed in half, because they will now be receiving 6.25 Bitcoin per block instead of 3.125. But we are seeing reports that BitDeer and another mining company will actually still be profitable after the halving if Bitcoin maintains that $40,000 level. So that means that all of their outgoing costs will still be covered with only 3.125 Bitcoin coming through the door. Now that is a really profitable sign, a positive sign there for investors. And we are also looking at what Bitcoin's price is doing and saying, look, the amount of profit they could make is insane. That's why we're seeing such a positive effect on its stock price right there. But there are some extra risks involved in investing in cryptocurrency related stocks as well, because they do correlate heavily with the Bitcoin price. So if Bitcoin goes down, sometimes these stocks can take an even bigger hit. You do need to look at the comparison between the two. Personally, not a huge stock expert, so definitely take a look at that and do all of your due diligence if you're looking to diversify a little bit more. I think it is important to diversify a little bit more, and it's definitely something that I'm interested in and something that I do a little bit of research on. Let's see what else is going on in the cryptocurrency space. Before that, let's just drink some of my coffee. Rob C says, hey all, happy Valentine's Day, Jess. Happy Valentine's Day, Rob. I hope everybody has a lovely day. I love Valentine's Day. Full of red and pink and hearts. Let's see what's going on here. What January's inflation figure means for the Fed. So headline inflation remained cool in January. On Tuesday, the CPI data was released. CPI measures inflation, is a critical economic measurement. The data is released by the Labour Statistics and calculated using a shopping basket of goods and services. So the headline figure remained cool, coming in at 3.1% for January. The CPI was forecasted to come at 3.9. The actual figure is 3.1, so it is slightly higher than expected. If we take a look at the last couple of days, we've got couple of figures. Sorry, that message in the chat really put me off there. The last 5 figures have read 3.7%, 3.2%, 3.1%, 3.4%, and 3.1%. So we have come in slightly higher than expected this time around. We all know that the Fed's target is 2% for inflation rates. We are seeing that, look, if the inflation rates are coming in higher than expected, we could be seeing the Fed hold these interest rates even longer than we initially wanted them. So essentially what happens here is the inflation rate measures the costs of a basket of goods over a period of time. So this is suggesting that a basket of goods that would have cost $100 a year ago now costs $103.10 from year to year. So That's the changes that have been happening. How do the Fed deal with this? Will they use interest rates to try and control the growth of the economy? Now, what we're seeing here is the next FOMC meeting will occur in March with a 93.5% expectation the Fed will leave rates unchanged. Definitely agree with that. I can't see them pulling these down anytime soon. They are on a mission to get to that 2% inflation target, and it needs to be sustainable as well. The last thing we want to see is the Fed pull down those interest rates and then hike them all back up again. We want to make sure that when these interest rates are coming down, they are staying down, and that's really important. Let's see what else is going on in the crypto space here. So crypto stocks advance pre-market as Bitcoin tops $51,000. We've just spoke about those. Bitcoin hits $51,000 and regained its $1 trillion market cap. And Bitcoin traders target $64,000 as BlackRock ETF nears $500 million in single day inflow. $64,000. Well, I think something to do that's really important right now, since we are pumping at $51,600. Let's take a look at what's going on here. The chat's really putting me off today. Is that why I said, Jonathan? I didn't mean to say that. I meant a basket. Let's take a look at what's going on here. In fact, let's pull all of these. Let's get a new chart up. Let's get a fresh chart up. Let's take a look at this one. Haha, who's taking his shot? Donate some for her to buy herself a rose and some chocolates. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. You're all really off-putting today. Let's see what's going on the weekly chart here. So let's go to the 3-day chart so we can see this a little bit clearly. What we are seeing is that we are at a new high for this cycle, and that means that we need to be able to take a look at what levels we have from the previous bull market that could be acting as levels of resistance this time around. So this is the 3-day chart because we don't want to zoom too far out, but we don't want to zoom too far in at the same time. What we need to look for here, I think we are better off looking for zones, crucial zones. Now, I think that we can see that there is substantial amount of levels of support and resistance within this entire range here. Very crucial range there because we've seen it's used as a level of resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. So I think this is a crucial level that we are in right now, with the top of this being at $55,000. Let's put that on pause for a second and see if we can get any critical lines. I mean, I want to go onto the daily chart. I do want to go on the daily chart. Let's take a look at this. Or maybe the weekly chart is best. 3 days it's not a chart that I like to look at too often. 3 days. Let's look at the weekly chart. So what we can see here, this is creating clear lines here. We are currently at a level of resistance at $51,700. You can see that from here and here. Other levels to consider, we have used this point as a level of support numerous times. That is at $55,400. This is used as a level of support during this peak here. I mean, I can't believe we're even talking about these levels. Bitcoin's previous all-time high was at $69,000, but we are within the range where Bitcoin was really at those highs in the previous cycle. $69,000 was touched slightly, but the real point here that we were looking at and trading at was between like the $59,000 to $50,000 level. That these were the highs of the previous cycle. I actually can't believe we're at this point right now. Let's see what's going on. Hopefully, Jess, you have a man to buy you roses and flowers. If not, I'm here for you, bouquet. Thanks for all the chocolate and rose emojis, everyone. PG, oh morning, just noticed you are live. We are live. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. If you go through, keeps going. If not, it's retracement. Yeah, so what we need to be doing here is Bitcoin is shocking us all. Let's all be blatantly honest. Bitcoin is shocking us all. It's got to really nice levels. And what we need to be doing is just keeping an eye on the levels of support and resistance. If we go to the daily chart for the price right now, we are currently, we have broken through a level of resistance. So we had a level of resistance at $49,000 right here. And we have used that as a level of support, and we are now touching some higher prices. So we need to take every day as it comes and look at what levels of support and resistance we have and which ones have been broken, and if we are seeing confirmation bounces. That's what we need to be seeing every single time. So We need to be taking the days as they come and see the potential here. Bitcoin is surprising us all and it is brilliant. We want to make sure we are doing some up-to-date analysis every day and keeping an eye on it. So what we can see here when it comes to the daily chart is we do have some levels of resistance at that $57,600 level as well. If we take a look, I mean, there's clearly one right up here. There's also one right here, I would say, used as a level of resistance there, and then there, and as a support here at 63,760. There are a couple of levels as well that we can consider along the way. I mean, there's so many points here because there was a considerable amount of price action at these zones. If we take a look here, you can see we have one at $60,000. I mean, we have some sort of ladder here that we need to be climbing, breaking through resistances, using them as supports, and then continuing on to the next one. OK says, love these times when people forget how parabolic Bitcoin can go and the bears FOMO back in. I mean, that's really important to notice as well. If we take a look at the previous cycle, if we go to the weekly chart, take a look at that move. Take a look at that move. Bitcoin has the potential to go parabolic. It scares me. It scares me because Bitcoin could go so high. I mean, we just don't know when that time is going to officially hit. Typically, it's post-halving. So the fact that we are seeing those sorts of movements pre-halving, it's not what we normally see. It's not what we normally see. It wasn't something that I was prepared for at this point in time, to be honest. I like the 4-year cycles. I like them to stay in tune. I don't like them to come apart. Who says, is your accent from North UK? It is indeed. I am a northerner. I'm proud. Let's take a look at what's going on with Ethereum here, because we are also seeing some higher prices. If we go to the daily chart, in fact, we can see we are currently attempting to break through that recent high at $2,730. What we can see here is we have not yet had a confirmation bounce on the daily chart here. A confirmation breakout, in fact. What we want to see is the daily candle close above that $2,750 level. When we do that, then we can be confirmed that that level is broken and we can look onto higher prices. Let's see what's going out. OK says, don't be scared, we just ladder out post-halving. Exactly. Dollar cost averaging in and dollar cost averaging out is my best favorite strategy. That's how we stay emotionless when it comes to trading. Let's see what is going on. Do we have any altcoins that anybody would like to take a look at on the chat, on the live today? How many minutes have we got? We are 32 minutes in. We've finished the news. We've finished Bitcoin analysis. Has anybody got any altcoins they'd like us to look at? Let's take a look at Solana quickly. So Solana, Binance, still not reached new highs yet. Let's take a look at Chainlink USDT. So what we're seeing here, in fact, I want to be looking at these tokens converting against Bitcoin. So right now, Chainlink is being outperformed by Bitcoin. Solana is being outperformed by Bitcoin on the daily chart, but marginally, this has been pretty sideways action for a very long time now. Justin says, Jess, do you hold any orange? Any thoughts? I do, not very much. As I said, I really need to stop diversifying. I come on this stream every day and say, I'm going to diversify, and then I don't diversify because, as we all know, I am super confident in Bitcoin. Altcoins make me become an emotional trader. That's not what I like to do, but diversifying is a strategy that I want to utilize this bull market. I just can't bring myself to do it. Let's see what else is going on. BNB, BTC. Let's take a look at this. Did I just click on the right one? BNB, BTC. So BNB is currently being massively outperformed by Bitcoin. This is now ranked number 5 in terms of market cap. Absolutely insane. Solana's market cap has overtaken BNB right now. Big moves here. Rob says he wants to take a look at Pepe. Let's take a look at Pepe. Pepe USDT, what we can see here, I mean, Pepe's pumping. Is this the right Pepe though? Yeah, it is. Pepe's pumping. I mean, I'm not a meme coin fan. I've never been a meme coin fan. It's pumping. That's all I can say. Let's see how it's performing against Bitcoin. They've got it on Bitfinex. Nothing. No data there. let's that made me laugh. Who's I don't know what your name is. Who's that made me laugh. Let's take a look at what other coins should we take a look at. We should take a look at Polkadot versus Bitcoin here as well. So this is being massively outperformed by Bitcoin. This interests me. I've been accumulating Bitcoin. I want to see charts like this. And these are the tokens that I want to invest into and diversify into because they have been massively outperformed. Now, when it comes to Chainlink, I'm a massive Chainlink fan. I believe in its utility. I think there's a huge opportunity there. Problem with Chainlink is it's been outperforming Bitcoin since June 2023. I've been accumulating Bitcoin throughout this time, and now it's already had that really nice climb. If we take a look at .BTC, was I just not seeing? If we take a look here, DOT has been outperforming I mean, if we take a look at when this was at this point, we're looking back in October 2023. So this chart looks a lot nicer for me to diversify into compared to Chainlink, BTC, because that is now, I mean, it's not been at these prices against Bitcoin since December 2022, but Chainlink is such a nice project. The utility is so good. Let's see what, I don't like this Valentine's Day talk in the live chat. Let's see what's going on for, what tokens have we got? What tokens should we take a look at? Cardano is a token that we do not look at enough on this channel. Cardano USDT. Let's see what's going on here. 57 cents there on the chart. Now, this has not yet reached a high at 0.68. That is the high that we saw back in December 2023. Cardano, slow burner. I mean, they take ages to do anything. I don't really see too much of the Solana Cardano community on Twitter. Surprisingly, Cardano is actually the first token that I ever invested into a very, very long time ago, and then I sold it at a loss in not this bear market, the bear market before, and then obviously you can see what it did in the last bull market, and I was absolutely gutted. And that was my cue then that like I need to learn what cryptocurrency is. I need to know what cryptocurrency is. So this is the token that really got me interested in the space here. Let's take a look at what Cardano is doing against Bitcoin. So we can see, again, looks pretty similar to the DOT chart against Bitcoin, being outperformed by Bitcoin since the peak of the bull market. These are the kinds of tokens I like, but this chart is showing up on the tokens that I don't want it to show up on. I want the link chart to look like this. That we do have. Let's see what's going on here. Band has been massively outperformed. I mean, I was interested in this. I saw some negative things on Twitter. I want to do a lot more research into some mid-cap coins now. I think this is the time. 63 days until the Bitcoin halving here. Interesting times to be diversifying, I'd say. Slightly delayed because I keep ignoring my own advice and I keep ignoring my own emotions and my own plan. My plan was to diversify January, February, March. We're now mid-February. Have I diversified? By a smidge. Let's see what's going on in the chat. I think this is all we have for today. Jerome, we've just had a look at DOT. We've had a look at ADA. Jonathan says, I love ADA. Okay, says Cardano, yuck. We can't please them all. There are some tokens in the top 10 that will no longer be in the top 10 in a year's time. I want to hear some predictions. What are your predictions? I mean, there are some tokens in here that I think, how are you still in the top 10? But I think there's opportunity here to go. Mike says bought Polygon here today. Rob says 1 inch. Let's take a look at 1 inch. 1 inch. Let's see how that's performed in terms of US dollar. I mean, it's not reached a new high from this peak here. If we take a look at 1 inch BT, oh, I didn't mean to do that. 1 inch BTC. What's going on here? Again, been massively outperformed by Bitcoin. These are the charts that I like to see. You're all bringing some positivity. Matic, BTC, taking a look at this, again, being outperformed by Bitcoin since basically back at the peak of the previous cycles. You're bringing a lot of tokens back onto my radar. This is what we need. Let's see. I think this is all we've got for today's stream. I think it's time to close it off. Monkey Nut says, Jess, have a great day and hope you get spoiled rotten. Thank you very much. I hope so too. That's all we have for today's stream. Thank you very much for tuning in as always. I hope you have enjoyed. That's all for today. We will be back here tomorrow, and it won't be Valentine's Day tomorrow, so you won't all put me off in the live chat. Thank you very much for watching, and we will be back here